Karoline Leavitt is in the doghouse with Donnie. Karoline Leavitt has pissed off Donald Trump. Donald Trump, who's fallen asleep at the wheel, doesn't even know what planet he's on, decides just all he knows is he just wants to push the war button and keep the Epstein files hidden. Donald Trump has been betrayed by Karoline Leavitt. And unfortunately for the American people, Karoline Leavitt is done tradwifing. She's done tradwifing to her 60-year-old landlord. Karoline Leavitt's not even 30 years old, by the way. So Karoline Leavitt's newborn baby is closer in age to her than her own husband. And Karoline, she's back to doing what she does best, which is floundering around at these train wrecks of a press conference. So she stole her job back from JD Vance. And this time she has slipped up so bad, and she has admitted to her whole purpose on this planet. She said, "This is what I do, and it is more than job." That's a direct quote. She said, "More than job." What that more than entails is absolutely disgusting. It is appalling. And she admits her deadly plan for everyone else's kids. She admits her sick obsession on camera. Karoline Leavitt has destroyed her own career with this one confession. She confessed to it. And I'm going to show you Karoline Leavitt's sick purpose here. But first, I need to give you a quick warning. I'm Lauren Paritra, Willa Paritra. We're having a hard time. But first and foremost, I need to let you know, Stephen Miller is on the loose. He has been last seen hungry in alleyways, shoving as much trash in his mouth as he can because they have cut off his food supply. They have cut off his food supply of algae at the deflection pool. He's left with nothing. He's starved. He's pale. His belly is growing despite him not eating anything. And he's going after people and dogs and cats and dogs. He's the real one going after them. So I need you to be safe. Willa and I, we run this show daily, network free, independent. We are truly network free and independent, and we need your help, and we need you to stay safe. So hit subscribe, follow us wherever you get your podcast, give us a 5-star rating. I want to see some of you guys hop over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star rating wherever you get your pods, leave us a comment, 6 words or more. Stay safe from Stephen Miller. So Karoline Leavitt isn't the only one who is really making an ass out of herself these days, because Melania Trump, she's always available to do that. Let's take a look at these MAGA women.
Why do you feel it is appropriate to use an official White House event to promote your documentary?
This is not promotion. We are here celebrating the release of the hostages of Aviva and Keith. They were in Washington, D.C. They called me. They said they would like to come over to thank me and to give hugs, and that's why we are here. It has nothing to do with promotion.
So a reporter asked Melania Trump, "Why do you feel it's appropriate to have an official White House event to promote your documentary?" And she said, "This is not a promotion. It just so happens to be a promotion." So yeah, and that wasn't the only thing that Melania has been up to this week, because she's also been very open about something that her husband is not doing.
We still must work openly and transparently to uncover the truth.
So here she is on July 15th saying we must work openly and transparently to uncover the truth about Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, her husband's bestie, probably an uncle to her kids. She likely, presumably, allegedly, throw in any word you want there, is here because of Epstein? Come on, Melania. Let's start with your husband. Let's start with your husband, the keeper of the files. She knows a lot about Jeffrey Epstein. She spent a lot of time with Jeffrey Epstein. Lady Einstein for you. Real quick, today's episode is brought to you by Brickhouse Nutrition. Everyone's talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic. They work by lowering your blood sugar and reducing your appetite. So what if you're looking to lose weight, but you're not interested in those painful weekly injections, especially when you hear about some of those intense side effects? Well, that's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it to energy, and curb your appetite and cravings so you're not as hungry. But listen, Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. And let's get you started today with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. You can visit takelean.com and enter code Lauren, that's Loren, for your discount. That's promo code Lauren at takelean.com. And meanwhile, One of the most important things we missed from MAGA women this week, while Karoline Leavitt has been behind the scenes, everyone else has had an opportunity to really just appear to be so deeply dead inside, especially Usha Vance, who is never not looking like an absolute hostage victim.
Everything that you just described, all of these incredible accomplishments, they take a lot of reading. Do you have any time to read for fun these days?
So I end up reading mostly newspapers. I usually read stories about myself.
Well, with so much going on in the world, it's really kind of you to take a moment to read. And I know you have 11 grandkids.
Usha Vance asks, Donald Trump, do you read? And he basically says, no, I read newspapers or I read about myself. Donald Trump doesn't read shit. He can't read. Donald Trump, come on. So the comments here were pretty iconic. So somebody wrote a direct quote from Barack Obama: reading is a gateway skill that makes all other learning possible. Thomas Jefferson: I cannot live without books. Donald Trump: I usually read stories about myself. So Usha Vance, just the tone and cadence and the way she speaks, she just gives Mitch McConnell in that newspaper picture. She gives that she's a literal hostage and she does not know how to get out of there. It's pretty bad. We're going to keep digging in on Usha Vance because we have a reason to believe that Usha Vance is living in a separate home from JD Vance, like on purpose. Anyway, now on to Karoline. Karoline Leavitt, back from tradwifing and straight back into making a complete ass out of herself in the administration.
What steps is the White House taking to ensure something like that doesn't happen again?
Well, the White House has extremely strict ethical guidelines with respect to issues like this. And as I just told you, this individual will no longer be here. He'll be on paid administrative leave. I'm sorry, without pay. The administrative leave is unpaid, to be very clear. That was a decision by the president. So I think that speaks for itself.
Name one ethical guideline, Karoline Leavitt. Name literally one ethical guideline. Just having a little fun. We don't trust Trump's direction. So that was her being asked by Ed O'Keefe, hey, there's a teleprompter operator who made nearly $100,000 from online bets placed on Donald Trump's speeches. And what's going on with that? And she's like, oh, yeah, he's on paid leave. He's not on paid leave. What? That wasn't even the worst. Here's where she shows us her cards.
Can I switch to Iran, please?
Sure.
And specifically, the Manab school attack. 120 children dead, 26 of their teachers. A Sky News investigation released today points to all this being a tragic mistake by America, by the US military. So could you explain, please, why the president is repeatedly saying it wasn't America, when he says also that he hasn't even seen the report?
I can't speak to the Sky News investigation respectfully because I have not read it. All I can speak to is what the president has said as I speak on his behalf, and the investigation continues, and we would defer you to the Department of War for further questions on it.
Do you mind following up, if I may?
Sure.
I just want to
My
understand.
answer is not going to change.
The Department of War is too busy investigating soldiers' dicks and worrying about that. But let's be clear here. The reporter said 120 children are dead, 26 of their teachers. So Sky News is doing an investigation, which was released on July 16th. And all evidence points towards this being a tragic mistake by the U.S. military. So could you explain why the president was repeatedly saying it wasn't America? I just want to understand why he consistently says it wasn't when all of the evidence points to human error. Sky News allegedly spoken to a military insider who says this was human error. And she said, well, the president feels this way because the military always acts in good faith. Name a time that they've acted in good faith. This is a war for oil and for Bibi Netanyahu. And what has it done? It's made our gas more expensive. It's cost American people. It's cost us in healthcare. And it's made life more difficult for the people in Iran. So she goes on to admit that he absolutely never targets civilians and that what she really is all about is doing this work because killing kids and defending the man who does so, who presses the buttons or makes the calls, that is the better future for children. Killing others abroad. And she says that's more than job. Take a look. This is where her truth comes out.
It really does take a village. take the opportunity to shout out to my husband, who's home with our babies right now. I look forward to returning home later to be with them. I view this as more than job. I view this as public service on behalf of a president who I firmly believe in everything this administration is doing and really creating a better country for my children and their future. And I'm very grateful for that. Blessed to both be working in this job, but also to have two beautiful babies at home. And as you know, Rachel, and any mom in this room knows, there's nothing better than being a mother.
I would say the thing that's better about being a mother is your kid's not being leveled by a U.S. attack for no fucking reason and wiped out. So she's opening up about this beautiful job she has. More than job. Her life purpose is protecting the man who may or may not have been raping children in broad daylight. All signs point to he was fucking doing it. And then now they're bombing. She's continuing to double down on the bombing of people. Welcome back from maternity leave, Karoline Leavitt. And if you've enjoyed this video, or if it's expanded your perspective or given you context to the hellscape that we're living in, hit subscribe. Find us wherever you get your podcasts. Seriously, we can't do this without your support. Will is having a hard time right now, and we'll continue to keep you guys updated. Ciao.